Hello everyone, my name is Jamie Rogers and I'm currently your classmate in Dr. Shannon's leadership seminar class online. And right now I am about to give you my briefing on the Crimson Tide movie. Today I plan to talk about the core leadership styles of Captain Ramsey and Lieutenant Commander Hunter, the leadership styles I would want to emulate from either one of them. And I'm going to talk about, describe a scene of the type of follower leader situation and talk about the leadership style used in conjunction with the follower. First, starting off, I want to talk a little bit about both Captain Ramsey and Lieutenant Commander Hunter's leadership styles. Captain Ramsey had more of an authoritarian leadership style, which refers to more of a dictatorship. He was the decider, he was often task oriented, and he made all the decisions. And Lieutenant Commander Hunter, on the other hand, was more of a democratic leader. He let his followers be more involved with decision making, and he was more relationship oriented. Of the two, I would most like to emulate Lieutenant Commander Hunter's leadership styles because he was more relationship oriented. And in our leadership development courses, I feel that I've learned that building relationships with people is very important, and it's at the core of just knowing someone and working with them in the future. If you have that relationship, it'll be easier to, keep in contact and be able to just work with people in the future. I would like to emulate in my own leadership, as I said, Lieutenant Commander's or relationship oriented leadership, and his optimism and his patience. I was able to, his optimism was depicted in the scene where Captain Ramsey, I cannot remember the exact line, but he said something along the lines of the crew needs a kick in the rear end, and Lieutenant Commander Hunter suggested that they need a pat on the back. And I felt that that was a very important scene, or a very important line in that scene, because not only is it true that all the time people don't need to be criticized, but they really just need help. So his optimism really stood out to me in that scene. And he was also very patient, even in the time of crisis, when there was the spat between he and Captain Ramsey. He was very patient with him. He was very knowledgeable. He knew his rights as lieutenant commander, what he could and could not do, and he spoke to him clearly and respectfully, while Captain Ramsey, let off steam and yelled and shouted and everything else. Lieutenant Commander Hunter definitely played it cool, and I know that's more of a characteristic of his, but it also goes along the lines of his leadership. If I had to select a scene and describe the type of followership and leadership conjunction, I would say the scene where the two crew members got into a fight over the comic books, and Lieutenant Commander Hunter he wasn't too far away from them, but when they were stopped by one of the crew members, Lieutenant Commander Hunter pulled him aside. This guy was a supervisor, and he tried to understand the cause of the fight. He didn't just right off the bat yell at them or anything. He wanted to know why they were fighting. And when he fully understood what it was about, that's when he advised the supervisor that if this happens again, you should know what to do because you are a leader and you should lead by the example. And the supervisor actually promised to handle the dispute better next time. And I think that this speaks volumes about Lieutenant Commander Hunter's relation-oriented leadership, because I feel that if it were Captain Ramsey that did this, it wouldn't have went over as smoothly as it did. Lieutenant Commander Hunter, if we go back to a little bit of his background, Denzel's character in the movie, he was a family man. You know, he was educated, and you could tell that he was a person that valued relationships, and he realized the value of relationships. And in that moment, he was able to speak to the supervisor as another leader and say, hey, you're better than this. You know, he was encouraging, you're better than this. Next time, just handle it a little differently. You're a leader, so let's lead by example. And that's very important. And I feel like personally, if it were somebody who's always that patient with me and that kind to me, if they were to say something to me in the heat of a moment like that, in the middle of a fight, I would be more likely to listen rather than someone who is just yelling at me for fighting. Lieutenant Commander Hunter actually took the time out to understand why they were fighting, you know, got to the bottom of it, and then put his 2 cents in. And I think that was very important. So, just to wrap up a little bit, I'm sorry if this was a little bit quick. I didn't realize that it was, but I've talked to you about the core leadership styles of both Captain Ramsey and Lieutenant Commander Hunter. And I've talked about his relationship-oriented leadership that I would like to embody myself, and along with his democratic leadership style, his patience, and his optimism. And I've also discussed the leader and follower relationship in the scene with the comic books. And I just would like to say that I enjoyed watching the movie, and I really feel like I just enjoyed Denzel Washington's character, Lieutenant Commander Hunter. And I feel like I wouldn't have been able to enjoy it that much if Captain Ramsey was not the contrast. So thank you for listening, and I hope that you enjoyed this briefing. Have a great day.